The first impact that I could remember is obviously when Kennedy was assassinated. I remember being in school at the time and hearing about it, and teachers in the halls crying and people being really upset everywhere. And I remember that was the first thing that I have this recollection of, that something outside in the real world kind of has trickled into me. The next thing that I would recall that would have an issue was not so much civil rights. It was there were not many people of color in our neighborhood, and it really was kind of a non-issue, only because it was an ignored issue, and it just didn't exist because it was not an integrated neighborhood at that point. So that didn't come up a lot. But the Vietnam War came up a lot because now we started seeing some of our friends' older brothers having to go to war. And I remember there was one instance where one of the brothers came back and he just wasn't the same. And we didn't understand why he wasn't the same. I mean, we could read about it, we could know what the war was doing. We'd see on TV what the war was doing and the total outrage over it, but I don't think we could fully understand psychologically what it could do to somebody until we saw his brother come home, and he just was not the same person. It was very sad, and he ended up killing himself, actually. Oh. So it was really bad, and I think that probably had the most direct impact upon us. Vietnam as a whole was the first time where we were actively taking a stance, like, walking out of school, picketing school.
Are you talking about high school now?
Yeah, I'm talking about high school. This was in, late 60s. I graduated high school in 1970. So that's where the first time we felt like we were actively involved in something, historically speaking, was Vietnam. And that was a very strong stance. And it was easier to do because it was such a large group of us doing it. It wasn't like just a splinter group. I mean, it was really, in our neighborhood anyway, people who were very, very, very against the war. And you'd be walking out of school with everybody. It wouldn't be like just 20 kids going out taking a stand. So it was easier to take a stand in that way. And our teachers were also very supportive of us taking the stand because they were taking the same stand. There were some very young teachers there that I was, having in high school. So they were also, would talk about the horrors of war. So historically, those are probably the two, the Kennedy thing and the Vietnam thing, that had the most impact, I would think.